Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show, Style, and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course, and as you can see from the title of this video, I will be talking about three different Black mayors of cities right here in the United States. We're going to be talking about some things that they have been having to deal with in their respective cities. And I just want to talk about, overall, are they struggling perhaps to lead in their cities and what can be done? Now, of course, everything that I'll be saying tonight is alleged and my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on the clips that I will show you all are allowed for criticism. And before we get into these stories, I ask that you all please hit the like button on this video. Once you do that, YouTube will recommend this video to more people who like to have mature, open-minded discussions about things that relate to local governments, our society, and just being a civil, law-abiding citizen. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show, Style, and Spirit. I would love to have you. So I also want to say that when I am not reading celebrity news and celebrity gossip, when I am not creating content that is surrounded by celebrities or the lovely cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville and the beautiful Melody Cherie, I am, making sure that I'm getting some information, just what's happening in society. I don't want to say on a political level, but on a decision-making level. So I definitely try to hear both sides and I try to be informed based off of factual information, what I think would help me as a single working woman. And I go from there. So these are stories that I have definitely been following, and I want to share them with you all. So now, as you can see, this attractive woman that you see on your screen is Tiffany Henyard. She is mayor of Dolton, Illinois. Dolton is a smaller town in the state of Illinois. Now, Tiffany Henyard has been accused of holding unprofessional meetings, dressing up like the character Nino Brown from New Jack City, and playing Rihanna's Better Have My Money during meetings with the local board of trustees and residents. Absolutely. According to Henyard, the city of Dolton, Illinois has a $2 million deficit. The city has a board of trustees, kind of like in Detroit, there is a city council. And so the board of trustees say that the deficit is much larger. And she is saying that it's at 2 million. They're saying that it's millions more. Also, Henyard has been accused of using taxpayers' dollars on a trip to Las Vegas. When a reporter asked her if this was true, she did not answer the question. Just last month, the Board of Trustees voted to have outside agencies, including the FBI, to investigate Tiffany Henyard. Well, just this week, Henyard vetoed their decision. The board plans on overriding that during their meeting next month. Now, I want to show you all a clip of a meeting, in Dolton, Illinois, just so that you can hear a voice to match with the face and just get a feel for how, the meetings are ran. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for you. I'll just be a couple moments here. Please hit the like button on this video while I queue up these two videos that I want to share with you all. Now, of course, I'm going to mute my mic because I do not want you all experiencing an echo. And again, the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on these clips are allowed. Just one moment.
Tiffany Henyard certainly isn't shy about attracting attention. Here she is starting a Dolton Village board meeting dressed like the Wesley Snipes character in the movie New Jack City, later punctuating her political points with the help of her own DJ.
Every single resident.
It was just so crazy when I arrived here Friday and saw the blocks.
A South Suburban car show is canceled after the entrance is barricaded with giant concrete blocks.
Now, the sponsor of that show and the Park District are calling it an act of revenge by the mayor in Dolton, Tiffany Henyard.
Dane Placco reports the Park District is now considering a lawsuit against the mayor.
Always a good time for everybody that comes out, fun, exciting, good for the community.
For the past 8 years, Darren Bosley has organized an annual car show here in the parking lot of Needles Park in Dolton. But after paying $1,000 to the Park District for this year's permit, Bosley got an unexpected call last Wednesday from Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard's top assistant,
Saying that the show would be shut down, but if I move my event to her location on Greenwood, that I will be fine.
Did you take that as a threat?
Yes, I took that as bullying.
Sure enough, when Bosley showed up at the park Saturday morning, he found that giant concrete barricades had been placed at the entrance, and Dolton police were threatening to tow any cars that parked there.
We're talking about two different governments. We're talking about the park government versus the village government.
Dolton Park District President Cleo Jones says Mayor Henyard has no legal authority over Park District property and believes she didn't want the competition to hurt attendance at her own event, a house music festival a few blocks away.
So I'm not sure what her tactics were other than trying to bully us and push us away, but that's not going to happen here.
We are walking all over cancer on our way to Springfield.
Henyard is no stranger to controversy. Fox 32 recently reported how Henyard used village employees and funds to pay for a march to Springfield to support a charity in her name. What would you say to the mayor about this?
Get your life together, get your act together. This is wrong for people that spend money with the Park District to try to throw an event, peaceful event, fine event, and it's good for the community, but you're taking that away from everybody.
We left multiple voicemails and emails with the Village of Dolton and the mayor, but so far, no response. The Dolton Park District president says they're considering suing the mayor and the village for overstepping their legal authority. In Dolton.
It was just so crazy when I arrived here Friday.
The bank. So we can see give it to all y'all, including the public. But my point to y'all is stop believing the lies. They lie so much up here. It don't make no sense. Like I said, every night I got to prove my love. Every night I got to show y'all what it is. It's sad. They lie because they can't beat me. I keep telling you, they trying to run a campaign on lies. Ain't going to get you nowhere. Nowhere. Next on the agenda is new business. Is there a motion to terminate contract with Odison, Stirk, Murphy, Frazier, and McGrath, LTD as legislative counsel? Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motion and second. Any discussion?
Yes, can I be recognized?
Go ahead.
Okay, for one, I don't understand how it's new business and you keep putting it on the agenda every period. So I'm going to ask the attorney and refer to the attorney. At what point, if it keeps voting down, is there something that says it cannot go
Nope,
on?
I'm going to put it up on the agenda every board
Okay,
meeting.
I asked the attorney.
I
asked the attorney.
And I just answered.
Okay, so then my next thing is, because she sit here and tell these lies to say that we're paying an attorney. She has not paid the attorney. She wants total control. So she thinks that she's the only person that can have an attorney. And then we have no legal representation. That's for the board. If you look at the budget for anybody that was here during the time when they had a fictitious town hall meeting, which if that's what they call it, it says $455,000 was spent in actuals for legal counsel. $432,000 of that went to Delgado. So when people sit here and they sit there and talk about what they got receipts for, what they don't have receipts for, she has not paid Bert Odison. So as long as Bert Odison, McGrath, or anybody else want to give us free legal advice at this point, pending payment, we're going to accept it. So you can put it on there every meeting until one of us is absent, 2, 3, 4 of us is absent, but you're not going to sit here and keep trying to control the situation where your attorney, because he made it perfectly clear, he worked for you, he don't work for us. We didn't hire him as the corporate counsel. We hired Delgado firm as the prosecuting counsel. So technically, we don't even have corporate counsel. But for you to sit here and keep lying, saying that we are paying somebody that you know has no check has been cut, you need to stop. It's ridiculous. And you sit here and talk about, I did this, I did that, they lie. She sat here and just pulled up a piece of paper. If you got something that said that it canceled it. And I'm sure all of y'all, including you, was on the email. We requested it. Why wouldn't you give it to us? But you say we sit here and wait till we get here to ask the question. If she had something, she should have sent it to us. Then we wouldn't even have the discussion. But for you to sit here and keep sitting lying, talking about somebody, first, we can go back, pull the meetings up because she good for pulling them up. First, she said we paid them $600,000. Then we paid them almost $1 million. But if you look at the actuals, only $455,000 been spent in legal costs, and most of it went to Delgado. So who lying?
All right, you finished? All right, go ahead, Tangerine.
Odison was not budgeted for in the budget.
Thank you.
Legal counsel did not have no description of who it is.
Let her
finish. Odison was.
You see how she was quiet and heard you? You got to be quiet.
You trustee House and asked him on what page was Odison budgeted for. I still have
legal expense.
Trustee, let her finish. You see how we be quiet and let you do your little rant? Be quiet. Let her talk. She got the floor.
I am not justice. You're not telling me.
It's her time. You have to be quiet.
No, I am not.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Tangerine.
I just wanted to make it clear that was not budgeted for.
Legal expenses.
Yep. Oh my God. That's your problem.
That's your problem.
Be quiet.
It was not amended and added. It was not budgeted for, and it is not included this year either.
Legal expenses does not show
trustee. You cannot overtalk her. Let her get her point out like you just did your rant. So you have to be quiet to hear her side, like we was quiet to hear your side. Stop. Point of order. Follow Robert rules of order, please. Go ahead. Go ahead, Angelique.
Was not cut. That does not mean the expenses were not incurred, and you're putting the village of Dolton on the line to pay those expenses.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
So as we go on, and we talk about this and we go back and forth, as you can see, people are so out of order, so disrespectful. You got to give respect in order to get it. If we talk and we be quiet, you got to give us the same courtesy. Ain't nobody interrupt you, whether you was lying or not. We shut up and we listen to your lie. Now you be quiet and let the finance director respond to you, like how we just did with you. As it relates to y'all attorney don't do nothing. So if you saying free help, give that back. Because if it's free, it shouldn't be for you because he ain't winning no cases for you. So why would you even have a person like that around if they causing the village, the taxpayer money? Also, y'all walked out of that last board meeting, right? Y'all to pay no bills. Reminding you that we still got public works, police, fire, all these expenses, the day-to-day operation, the light bills, the gas bill, all the things to run a business was still at stake, but y'all walked out. Entire your month went by, right? That's what I'm talking about. Y'all don't care. Because who walks out on the people? I don't care whatever y'all want to bring up about fighting back in the day or whatever, but I never walked out on the people, but y'all did several times. Y'all walked out on a $33 million lawsuit. That's why we got the $33 million lawsuit right now. Y'all walked out again at the last board meeting. Y'all walk out on everything. Y'all got to sit here and sit in the fire. If you don't like it, so be it. But that's what discussion is for. We go back and forth, hopefully find a happy medium. If we do not, then guess what? Then them people are just don't get paid because y'all chose not to pay them for whatever reason that you thought you shouldn't pay them. And it's warranted. That's what I'm tired of. Y'all should pay people after they have done the work. When there are storms in our community, we had a storm, right? What was y'all faces? I ain't seen not one of y'all on the block. I ain't seen not one of y'all helping nobody. Not one. Trees was on cars, trees was on houses. And guess what? The day before, y'all chose not to pay them vendors. But every single vendor came out and took care of the people. Every one of them. That's because of what? You network, relationships. They didn't want to leave the people high and dry. So they said, you know what, Mayor, we got you. We're going to come out and we're going to make sure the people are taken care of. That's what I do as a leader. You guys just talk and talk about nothing and ain't producing nothing. And that's my problem. Y'all talk, but ain't putting in no action and no work. At least my work speaks for itself. No matter what y'all want to put up against me, go lie to people, bring media here. Who tears down their town? Like, think about that for a minute. Y'all black. Look how we fight. African-American community fighting like this over what? A title, a seat? I told you, you all are bench warmers. Everybody got to go. At the end of the day, you wait your time. You wait your turn. Your turn ain't here yet. We don't run to 2025. And then you let it be what it be. Like I said, then you come and run against me. But all that little fake stuff y'all be trying to do, it ain't working. And it ain't going to work. As he said, any weapon formed against me ain't going to prosper. So y'all should stop. Call the roll, Clerk Key.
Mayor, I have a comment.
Now you got something else. Go ahead.
So just the entire meeting is set up for an argument. Information is not given to the board. And then we get in here, it's set up to say, yes, I did. I keep asking the same thing. Let's put it on the website. We don't have to go back and forth. We don't have to do any of this show. The same item has been put on the agenda for the last 9 meetings. I'm exaggerating. But the mayor did say she's going to keep on putting it up there, knowing that there's not enough support for it. It's set up just for us to come in here and argue. That's the whole intention. Come in here and argue and then state, I don't want to go back and forth. I mean, we know most people say definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting a different result. It's insane to put up the same item knowing it doesn't have support. But it's set up for the argument, it's set up and then to twist it and say, oh, board, you're doing this and you're doing that. It really doesn't make sense, but if it has to be put up there 9 times, or put up there 15 times for us to go and do it, but just understand, we talk about why the whole back and forth.
The bank, so we can see give it to all y'all, including the public. But my
Okay, so you saw those 2 clips of a news report about how she wanted the organizer of a car show to use her preferred lot over a lot where he paid the $1,000 fee for the permit, and then cement barricades were set up so that none of the cars could park on the lot as like a form of alleged retaliation for not going with her desired plan for the car show. And then we got to see a clip of one of the meetings for the city of Dolton, the tension between Tiffany Henyard and her board of trustees. Now, definitely there was some anger from the one trustee. I sensed the frustration. And the Jason House, I'm familiar from following up on this story for several weeks now. You know, Jason House was explaining to the residents, everyone who was witnessing the meeting, you know, these meetings are set up to be an argument because information is withheld from the trustees. So when we arrive and there's frustration, then it looks like we're just argumentative. But some residents of Dolton, they got to express themselves to Henyard this week after she interviewed with liberal journalist Roland Martin, where she denied the board's claims and pretty much said she did not know where their concerns were coming from. And she told Roland Martin that the $2 million deficit was due to people not paying bills. Okay. So also, if you are to research Tiffany Henyard, there are channels like Nate the Lawyer. He is a Black lawyer, Nate the Lawyer. He has videos about Tiffany Henyard and the deficit and the alleged claims that she actually created a security detail for herself. And she was paying these officers not only an hourly rate for 40 hours a week, but it was like crazy overtime. Like when you do the math, it's basically like 24 hours a day. So some people may say that that deficit, it could be going towards paying, you know, her security detail. But I am going to come back with my commentary on her after we talk about these next 2 mayors. So then we have Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. Johnson took office just last year. Allegedly, he ran his campaign on defunding the police. Once he became mayor, he no longer pursued defunding the police, but he did embrace Chicago's sanctuary city status. And as the end of December 2023, more than 30,000 migrants have arrived in Chicago, per the City of Chicago's website. According to Axios, Mayor Johnson has allocated $150 million to handle the migrant situation. The Chicago City Wire reported on January 17th that Mayor Johnson suffered a panic attack and was hospitalized. Now, what is very frustrating for a lot of people, including Black people, have expressed these sentiments about, you know, people are needing help locally who are born here, born Americans with birth certificates, social security cards, social security numbers. We have the ability to work and earn a living because we can prove our citizenship. We are documented, legal Americans living here. But yet $150 million have been allocated to migrants who have been coming. Now, just in case you are unaware, the tens of thousands of migrants that have been arriving in both Chicago and New York City, of course, they're crossing the border, coming through Texas, and the Texas Governor Abbott, he has been shipping these migrants on buses to these sanctuary cities in the north because he does not agree with how open the borders are. And he is taking his frustration with our current president out on the mayors of the sanctuary cities. So unfortunately, you know, their skin color happens to be Black at a time when the border is wide open. So it's looking like they cannot perform because they are leading sanctuary cities and tens of thousands of migrants are coming there, and it is very, very expensive. Now, I do want to play a clip for you all in regards to the Mayor Johnson when he was running for mayor. So I am going to play this clip for you all. I will go ahead and mute my mic, and then we'll go ahead and play that clip. Please hit the like button. Thank you. Okay, so you saw him being asked during the runoff election for mayor of Chicago about his defunding the police comments because there are still residents, of course, who would want definitely officers to be available. Now, in my personal individual opinion, I do not believe in defunding the police as a single woman. I feel like single women, single parents, single mothers, we are the main ones. When I say we, I mean single woman. I don't have any kids, but any type of single woman, we definitely are the main ones who need the police. You know, especially perhaps if you're someone you may not have the license to carry, or, you know, you just want that law enforcement to be on your side. You know, I definitely feel like that is good to have. You know, if you are a landlord, if you've ever had a dispute with an unruly neighbor, and you've had to call on law enforcement. Now, I know there is the topic of police brutality. I feel like that is one of the topics under the general topic of law enforcement. And I feel like that is separate versus just totally discussing defunding them altogether. So what I find interesting is that is what he ran on, and he was elected. And then there are people who are annoyed with him that he has been so, welcoming and just really open towards the migrants. And then they kind of feel like it's a slap in the face. There are reports on that too. And also from other Blacks in the city of Chicago who simply do not agree with his stance. Now, again, if the city of Chicago was already a sanctuary city prior to 2023 when he took office, I guess one could argue that that's definitely not Mayor Brandon Johnson's fault. But, publicly, perhaps they feel like he should say more about tightening up the border and, that this really is not a good idea, not only for the city of Chicago, but for the country as a whole. In some people's opinions, if that's what they're looking for from him to say and do. But, we'll have to continue to see how the city of Chicago, survives with the migrants coming to the city. So then we have New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Mayor Adams has been in office. Like Chicago, New York City is a sanctuary city. Recently, New York City has seen violent crimes allegedly committed by migrants. The even bigger problem is immigration laws prevent migrants from really being detained by ICE and ultimately deported. So Mayor Adams has expressed the struggle to house migrants in an already highly populated city. And migrants invade the city's budget, of course, as well. Now, Mayor Adams has definitely asked for the country, the government, to speed up the process of getting migrants work papers, their work visas, so that they can start working in New York City and earning money. And I believe that he is convinced, allegedly, that if they are making money, then that will cut down on the migrant crime. And of course, that's like a general belief, right? In any city, that when the economy is stressed and there's fewer jobs and people are making less money or no money, that is when crime rates will increase. And what I feel like is unfair to, again, American-born citizens, if they need jobs, what about them? What are they to do, if they are without and they need something? And you're like trying to have this economy for migrants so that they can start earning money. I feel like that is starting in the middle of the situation. You would have to go back to the beginning of the situation, which would be the wide open borders. And I feel like the border needs to be tightened, and that would ultimately affect all of the tens of thousands of migrants going into these sanctuary cities. Now, I want to play a news clip about Mayor Adams and him wanting to get the work papers for the migrants. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me cue up this video. And while I'm doing that, I ask that you all please hit the like button, of course. And now I will go ahead and mute my mic, and then we'll play this video for you.
Migrant shelter, but this comes as Mayor Eric Adams is also pushing for changes to the sanctuary city laws that would allow the NYPD to turn migrants accused of a crime over to ICE.
You don't have to be a behavioral scientist to state that we're creating a terrible environment.
Mayor Eric Adams says the city is installing metal detectors at the migrant shelter on Randall's Island, and he is planning a visit to the site after another fight broke out at the shelter Monday night. According to the NYPD, a 23-year-old migrant struck a security guard in the face, causing a scuffle. 2 migrants were placed under arrest and charged, but this marks the 3rd violent incident to occur at the shelter in just the last several months. Adams again renewed his call to the White House to give migrants faster access to work papers.
You place 1,000 people in one setting and tell them they can't work. All they can do is sit around all day. Tempers flare.
Adams is also making it clear that he wants to make changes to the sanctuary city laws. Under Mayor Ed Koch and Mayor Michael Bloomberg, the NYPD was allowed to alert ICE when a migrant was accused or arrested for allegedly committing crimes. However, now migrants are only passed along to ICE if they have been convicted of a crime. Immigration advocates are staunchly against this change, and Council Speaker Adrienne Adams says she has no plans of introducing anything like this legislatively. But Adams says migrants accused of committing multiple robberies should not be allowed to wait here while their case plays out.
They didn't give due process to the person that they shot or punched or killed. We can't have these small number of migrants and asylum seekers that have identified that they're going to be dangerous, hide under the law.
An audit by the city comptroller was also released on Tuesday that showed the city has been overcharged at times for migrant services due to the city procuring no-bid contracts.
What we're calling for now is to go through a procurement process that would make sure we get the most competitive price for all these services.
Adams defended the contracts on Tuesday, saying they did the best they could at the time when these contracts were inked.
Because of our response, no child, no family sleeps on the streets of the city of New York.
Now, Adams says he also did not meet with the president during his trip to the city, but emphasized the need for President Joe Biden to issue some sort of executive order that would limit border crossings and create a decompression strategy. Steve, Natasha, at least 2 migrants were arrested and charged yesterday after a fight broke out at the Randall's Island migrant shelter. But this
Okay, so you saw that report on Instagram on Fox 5 in New York City about a crime that happened at a shelter in New York City. And, Eric Adams is hoping that the government will speed up its process for getting work visas to migrants so that they can start earning money and hopefully will stop committing crimes. Now, overall, of course, I do not think that these mayors are struggling with doing their job simply because they are Black. That would be ridiculous. I know for a fact that the way that I perform on my job and I qualify for the bonuses, it's because I work hard and I'm detail oriented and I care about producing quality work. It has nothing to do with my skin color. I'm not a quote unquote diversity hire. When I watch all of these different stories, people that, they're kind of like keyboard gangsters in the comment sections, they'll say someone, is just a diversity hire. Of course, not caring what they think. I know that that is not the case. Now, I do think that they struggle, at least for Mayor Johnson and Mayor Adams, because their cities are sanctuary cities. I feel like the policies set up the leader for failure and set up the residents to be had, to be put on the back burner. Now, some people will say, oh, you have to have compassion for the migrants. They are seeking asylum. They're leaving their countries. They have their own problems. And I'm not saying that I am this person that lacks compassion. I also know that I don't have to prove myself to anyone. I know that that is not the case either. But when it comes to dollars and cents, I do not feel like taxpayers' money should go towards migrants who are not even born here. I feel like in their native country, maybe it's time for them not to be migrants, but to be those who affect change and who get things straightened out for the betterment of the people where they are. And at the same time, they can go through the due process of being able to come here legally. then we're talking a totally different game. Now, also, so literally, you know, Mayor Adams and Mayor Johnson, they are trying to manage the pre-existing issues of their cities, plus trying to house and cater to migrants who were not paid, who were not a part of the picture anyway. Now, unfortunately, the current state of the borders have made it easy for tens of thousands of migrants to enter some cities and seemingly expect to be cared for. But I do pose the question, what about you and me? Now, when it comes to Tiffany Henyard, I do find her to be a bit unprofessional. Some would call her ghetto, and some of her tactics could be used to try and intimidate. I hope that the residents of Dolton, they ultimately will have leadership that is of integrity and not a control freak, because that is definitely what she is giving to me. But I thank you all so much for checking out this video, because I know that it is more on a serious note and not just about celebrity gossip, but we are all intelligent, well-thinking people. So I know that we can converse on this level as well. Please hit the like button on this video. It is a free way of supporting the channel. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show, Style, and Spirit. I would love to have you. Continue to be an independent thinker. Listen to both sides to see where people are coming from, you know, and when you make decisions, make the decision that is best for you, not just because they are affiliated with a group of people, you know, but think everything through. And I know you'll make the best decision for you and your household. All right. Well, tomorrow is Wednesday. It's going to be a wonderful Wednesday. Be safe, and I will talk with you all soon. Bye.